What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Awake and Sober podcast, a podcast about life and recovery through Christ. Amen.
I like that.
That was really, really good.
It was
Right.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Some big emphasis on Christ.
Christ.
Yeah.
You did it.
So this is the third time's a charm?
This is only second.
Second.
Technically, we had to start over the last one
This is true.
Oh, okay. So we'll go with third.
for a
Third time's-
for a copyright
I
infringement.
mean, we might as well go through.
So let's make sure. Record
Everything's recorded.
Record.
Okay.
and everything else.
Red.
Perfect.
We're good.
Everything's red.
Is this good? We're good.
No.
That's always good.
What was that new nickname for Mike that you came up with?
Bonk.
Bonk.
The old video game. So we'll throw that.
Yeah.
That big.
Yeah, just for people who watch. Can you give me your hat for a second?
Oh, man.
Yeah. One moment,
So
folks.
this is, if you do not watch the show, this would be the time to maybe turn it on.
It literally goes down over my ears, Michael.
I have an incredibly large head.
Is what's wild is you're a big dude. It looks like you would have the big head.
Exactly.
So either you got a little peanut head like the
You do.
the head shrinker on
I'm like 7 and a 7.25 or 7.5.
This is a 7 3/4,
you got a big
and
head.
it's still tight.
I was thinking it was like an 8.
It should be.
I probably
He said
should.
it's tight.
It's tight. I should have got an 8. Let me get this thing back on.
Wow. The conversation at the
Yes.
very beginning. That's what happens when we film in the evening.
Yes. It's weird doing this during the week. We are going to be talking a little bit about arrested development today and recovery, just so you know where we're at. But how is your week going so far, gentlemen?
Very, very well. So we tried this on Sunday, and then I ended up taking 2 days off for myself, which was really, really awesome. Monday, I didn't do anything, and I can't specify enough how little I did. Like I literally did nothing. And then Tuesday, yesterday, went golfing in the morning.
No.
Yeah. I was gonna play Monday too, but I said yeah. So played yesterday, and then had some therapy session, which went really well. And then I was actually supposed to go see the cardiologist because of my heart, because my uncle passed away a couple weeks ago, and found out I have some family issues with heart problems, and so I got to the cardiologist, and turns out my appointment was at 2, and I got there at 2:20, so I had to reschedule for another 2 weeks out.
I thought it was going to be 8 months.
I know that's what I.
So 2 weeks isn't bad.
2 weeks isn't bad, no. And then I almost gave myself a heart attack with how hard I was screaming when I was leaving those doors. I was so upset.
At yourself or at them?
Oh, at me.
Okay.
I think I called myself an idiot quite a few times.
Yeah.
But then I got in my car and I screamed one last time and I said, hey, it is what it is.
So the self-affirmation was not
No.
too good that day.
No. And then I ended up going and doing some work at my duck lake last night. So I got one full day off, and then I ended up having to do some stuff yesterday. So, but other than that, back to work today. Did some painting. Was outside all day. It was a beautiful day. And then doing some painting tomorrow. So yeah, life is good, man. Life is good.
Yeah, I walked outside with a jacket this morning.
Yeah.
Had a meeting with an attorney at 8 a.m., and I don't usually do 8 a.m. It just don't happen on my schedule, but went to breakfast, had some great tacos.
Breakfast tacos?
Yeah,
Where'd you
Village
go?
Cafe.
Oh, the one over here.
Yeah, they're breakfast tacos. I either get the breakfast tacos or the haystack. Neither one of them can you go wrong.
Really?
Yeah, but their tacos, Tim, the guy I met with, was sweating. I mean, he was sweating because they come jalapenos and some jalapeno sauce and some other stuff. It was great.
Nice.
He's in there just, I said, I told you they were a little warm, a little spicy. But yeah, man, it's been a good week. It's been a very productive week. We were over cleaning the building out today, getting more stuff. And I turned around to Steve and I said, why did we even do what we did before? We were deck scrubbing this floor just to have it filthy 10 more times.
Yeah.
But it gave us something to do, right? So,
And what's going in there? What are we talking about?
so Reclaiming Hope will be moving in. We're hoping to put a schedule out by the end of this month. That way everybody will know when the doors are actually open and we're there. We're always available, but open hours for people to walk into the doors of.
And right now they could check us out online, right? Reclaiming Hope.
reclaiminghope-mo.org.
There you go.
Awesome.
I hate that it's such a long website, but
Yeah. And if people have questions or want to reach out to us, how do they do that? Info?
call Tyrone. Oh, info at awakensober.org. That's info at awakensober.org. I just love that song. Better call Tyrone.
Oh, my
For a
gosh.
second, I was like, who the heck is Tyrone?
Tyrone.
It's
Jeez.
man, it's a great song.
Yes.
You better call Tyrone. So, how are you doing?
Yeah, man.
I'm good. Thanks.
Yeah, that ain't gonna
Arrested
work.
Development.
Neat.
No, I'm good. It's funny you were talking about health issues, Mike, and I found out that I'm going to have a colonoscopy. Ain't never had one of those.
Really?
Yeah, so similar to you, somebody who gave me birth recently had one, and they found some polyps, and so I guess once you find that, you're supposed to go get checked out. So, looking forward to that.
Thanks
It's
a lot,
fun.
Mom.
Yeah.
So are they gonna do both sides? Usually when they go in, they just do both at once.
What are you talking about?
A colonoscopy and an endoscopy. So that way in through your throat to check all the things
I
out.
was.
Me? Yeah.
What-
I didn't know where to go.
That's.
I had no idea.
So
was like-
so let me help you guys out.
You're like a pig on a
Awaken
stick.
sober. 1 Thessalonians 5, 6 through 8. We're not going to be talking about the other. This is not that show.
Okay.
That's next week's show.
You need to tune into a different show for that. I'm sure they're out there. This we're going to talk a little bit about Jesus,
Yes. Okay.
recovery and Jesus,
Recovery in Jesus.
not
Not where your head went,
You-
sicko. So Arrested Development.
When individuals start using in their teens, their brain changes shape and the cortex thins, the part of the brain associated with higher level functioning. As a result, the brain becomes stuck at the same level of maturity it was in when drug use began, a term known as
Arrested Development.
arrested, not the band
Or the show.
or the show, which both are great. So, how do individuals get to the place where they are stuck emotionally?
Well, for starters, I feel like no one has ever taught how to deal with emotions, especially from a very young age. It's so for me personally, when I showed emotions, I have two older brothers, and a lot of the times it was shut up, don't be a baby, right? So that was years and years of that. So when I got to be older, say, middle teens to late teens, early 20s, when I wanted to show emotion, typically I couldn't because I had so much time of don't show your emotion, or the only emotion that is acceptable is anger. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it was very hard, and still is hard. I just turned 34, and I have a hard time showing emotions unless it is
Rub it in.
something.
I just turned 34.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
And I can't grow a beard. You going to talk about that too?
I wasn't. You brought
Well, we
it up.
weren't going to, but now
Yeah.
that you mention it,
I figured I'd tap the keg.
I mean, now we're not. He can't grow a beard.
Oh, now you just
and he's
triggered
got a big
somebody.
head.
Sorry, but no. So I've talked about this with my therapist. It's like even at my uncle's funeral, which I wasn't greatly close to him, but I was kind of close to him, and I felt tears coming, and I didn't express them. I didn't let them go.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because I looked right at my brother and I was like, oh God, I hope he doesn't see me. So it's just difficult for me to show emotion sometimes. I'm getting better at it. But yeah, it goes back to that Arrested Development, to where it's like I was never properly shown, or honestly, a lot of the times allowed to show emotion.
I was just thinking through that aloud. But yeah, I could see it in some families, how they wouldn't allow you to do so. So for me, it was a trauma, going back to years of sexual abuse that happened. And then for others, when they start drinking
Or using.
or using. Yeah. Yeah. For me, it was drinking first. That's what I always associate. I know a lot of people drink first, but nowadays it seems like a lot of people smoke first.
I did.
Yes.
That was
Making
funny.
sure-
It was just,
making sure
are
you're
you
listening.
still alive? Are you still with
Yeah,
us?
he's over there.
And what's funny is I'm not moving any of the cameras until later. So, I mean, everything
Yeah, oh,
is
yeah.
just on him. It's great. It's his melon.
So you mentioned trauma,
Yeah.
and we've all experienced trauma in our lives.
And I think most have, if they get honest.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yes. Anything traumatic or anything that, you know, anything that changes your, like, so a struggle, like over a period of time.
Mm-hmm.
So the example I was given was if you grow up poor and you don't have a lot of food, right? So you're scraping by and just barely getting, you're eating hot dog soup, and there, you're eating hot dog soup. And so you learn this survival technique of you hold on to everything almost like a hoarder, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's just the way they react. What happens, especially with those in addiction or in recovery, when we start to get sober, we don't think about the fact that our frontal cortex, which is responsible for pretty much all of our cognitive thinking, muscle memory, the reactions, the emotions, we don't realize that that's still messed up. And so when we respond to something like a trigger, we respond as we would when we started drinking.
So react.
React.
Yeah.
So at 18 years old, if I started drinking at 18 and I acted like a pissed off teenager all the time when I became emotional, that's what's going to happen when I drink. Make sense?
Yeah.
That's why I sucked my thumb.
Makes a lot of sense too, because I was
That's why I sucked my thumb for so many years.
He goes, that makes sense.
I don't know why it took me 10 seconds. But when I so I was like at the very end of me using, I was a very sad drunk. I was very depressed a lot, So where does it cut off from, that's the new stage of arrested development? Or maybe was it just the years of using and drinking and drinking and drinking that turned me into that, to where, I didn't do that early on. I was a happy-go-lucky, I was a social drinker at first, right? So,
But the trauma that happened to you over the years was before you started drinking.
oh yeah, yeah,
So you're going to have possibly two different start-in points.
yeah. I mean, by the time I started drinking, my brothers were out of the house and everything like that. So,
Yeah, so that because you had such space in between, even if you're starting to heal from the earlier, now you have the other that comes in and you boogered yourself up pretty good.
sure did.
Well, you didn't booger yourself up the first half. That was other people's fault, not yours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't do myself any favors. Let's just say that.
I was, that's funny. You just made me think of something. I was meeting with one of my clients today, and we were talking about a spouse and his spouse a drinker. And he said to me, he goes, well, I'm to blame for her drinking.
One of those, huh?
And I was like, you are? So I said, who's to blame for your drinking then?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, who do you blame for your drinking? And he's like, oh, like the light bulb went off. And I was like, dude, you can't control. If she's going to drink, she's going to drink. And it's not because of you. It's because she can't deal with that. That's her coping mechanism. But it's not because of you that she drinks.
Yeah.
Just like it's not because of her that you drink. It's all up in here, It's just crazy. But
So I can't blame somebody else?
oh, you can.
You can do that all you want.
I like the blame game
Yeah. How'd that work out for you?
very well.
For how long?
Lots of divorces and all kinds of things. It worked out really, really well.
Long time.
Yeah. Were you going to say something, Shane?
No, I was just looking for something.
Okay. Did you find it?
Nope.
Okay. So when trauma impairs your ability to develop full emotional maturity, we already said this is known as your arrested psychological development. It can come, like we said, from trauma, abuse, neglect, accidents, bullying is one of those, especially nowadays. Were you bullied as a kid?
So I learned behavior. I was bullied at home, and then actually I was a bully at school. And I was really little, so I had little man syndrome
With a really big head.
with a really giant. I was top
See,
heavy.
if he would have just headbutted him, he would have won.
Bonk.
I thought about it. I was very top heavy as a child. Let's just say that. But no, but I mean, I wouldn't say I was bullied, especially because my brothers went to the same schools that I did. So like, as soon as they left, it was like, oh, there's little Mikey or little Fowler. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I hung out with the older crowd a lot, and but I was a bully in like grade school and even early in high school. You know, because I just thought that was normal.
Right.
I didn't know how to deal with it. So I dealt with it the only way I knew how.
What about you, Shane?
Was I bullied?
Yeah.
I
Or
beat
were
up
you
the bullies.
Did you?
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah, I didn't like bullies picking on people. So I protected the ones that couldn't protect themselves.
Yeah. You know, I remember growing up through grade school, I was bullied a lot because I was a big child. My mom called me husky or big boned, right? You know?
Which is nice for fat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fluff-
it was very-
fluffy,
it was
yeah.
no, I was never fluffy. That's
Is that over the line?
That's over the line. That crosses the line. So, my mom would say, "You're big boned,"
Yeah.
like husky. But I'll never forget. Like, I think it was between 7th and 8th grade that summer. I like shot up and I slimmed down, and then I became bigger than everybody else. And then nobody wanted to mess with Chug-a-Lug anymore because that's what they used to call me.
What was it?
Chug-a-Lug.
Chug-a-lug?
Chug-a-Lug.
Man, that's a good name.
That was a good one. Yeah,
That's pretty mean.
Yeah.
I agree.
Why'd they call you Chug-a-lug?
Because I drank a lot
That's
of milk.
Chugga lugga, chugga
Oh,
lugga.
yeah.
Choo
And
choo.
I ate a lot of food.
Were you in the cafeteria drinking all the milk cartons?
Grandma was the school cook.
Oh, you got everything you wanted.
Grandma was a lunch lady?
She was the yeah, and she couldn't let her only grandchild get
It makes
get
sense.
hungry.
It makes
Yeah.
so
It
much
makes-
sense now.
You didn't know that? Oh
No.
yeah,
That's why we love Grandma so much. She was a lunch lady.
yes.
Grandma.
That's why her love language
Shout
is
out to
food.
Grandma. We love you.
Yes. Yes.
Goodness gracious.
I miss Sundays at the Schwenker house. The only thing I miss is Grandma's
Grandma's
cooking.
food. Yes, yes.
I don't miss sitting up on the chairs that we had to sit in.
Yeah.
These are a lot more comfortable.
These are a little bit more.
Absolutely.
So, can you either one of you think of a time, with
6:30?
Can any of you think of a time where you respond back? Like, I know you kind of touched on it a little bit, but recently in your recovery, that you find yourself going back and be like, well, that was 18-year-old Mike, or that was 12-year-old Shane, because you started drinking when you were like 2.
Yeah. It wasn't my fault. Lived in Germany. It's Germany's fault. Let's go back to the blame game. It's Germany's fault. Yeah, all the time. It's weird that you could still, but it's great to notice it.
Right.
And hopefully we notice it sooner than later.
Mm-hmm.
I would say will still notice behaviors every once in a while. If me and Christina get into a little argument, oh boy, I'm like, all right, my bad. I'm sorry. Let me change this real quick.
That's when I really notice mine. It's in those really intimate relationships that we have that
Yep.
I respond like that. The way I don't want to respond, but that's all I've known.
Emotionally?
So reaction again.
Yeah, reactionary.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Do
it
you-
could, go ahead.
Do your thing.
No, go ahead.
Okay. When you do notice it, do you say it out loud?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I just because I have to. Like, oh, that's me coming back. That's that maniacal other Mike that's coming back.
See, because I still work on my pride and ego, I won't say it right then and there. It's one of those after I go away for a minute, and I'm like, all right, like, I definitely owe an amends on this one.
Right.
And it drives Amy nuts when I'm like, everything you're saying about me is correct. I don't want to be right. Well, you are. Like, I don't know.
Then don't say it.
Yeah, right.
Because I can't prove you wrong.
What do you want me to do here?
I don't want you to be right. I just want you to change. It's like I am. And that brings up my next point. It takes, even though it's been several years since my last drink, those, and especially longer for you, Shane, those character defects, those emotions are still wanting to come out all the time.
all the time. I mean, we had how many years in that versus how many years of sobriety?
Right.
And they say it's going to take over 10 years for your brain to truly heal itself all the way, right? It could take 15 years. For most, it's probably 10 or 12, depending on the amounts and the drugs and everything else that's in there. But if you're talking 10 years to heal, how long have you been working recovery?
Oh,
How long have you been sober
solid.
now?
Yeah, almost 2 years.
20 months today, actually.
Well, then it sounds like we all have a little ways to go
Right.
before the brain heals. So, I mean, we're going to run into it. And even afterwards, character defects are the hardest because the things that cause all these character defects and that we use them to protect ourselves and everything else, those are our coping mechanisms. They're ingrained in us more than our coping skills are.
To the core.
So it's going to be a while. So be patient. I mean, patience is going to be key. You got to have patience and grace with yourself. Spouses, have patience and grace with your loved one.
Yes. And you got to have faith,
Yeah.
you know?
Little George Michael?
Yeah.
Because you got to have faith.
Or Fred Durst.
What's a Fred Durst?
Limp Bizkit.
Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, I didn't listen.
Yeah, that's fair.
Limp Bizkit. All right.
Yeah.
We're
Don't know where that came from.
it's a little Fred Durst. Yeah.
So yeah, I when I was still doing groups in my last role, I would tell people like how I even asked that same question. How long did you use? Be like, well, I've been using, 20, 30, 40 years. I'm like, well, I'm glad you are getting into this now, but it's going to take a long, long, long time to not only change those, but to even recognize those character defects. Like I had 17 years of active use, probably 10 of really, really hard use drinking. And working with a therapist and a sponsor and, working a good program, I get to call myself out on those. Or not even call myself out, but I get to be accountable for those actions. Those are, and I always say this, those are things that I did. That's not who I was.
They don't define you.
They do not define me as a person. And I want to get that across. Like, we've all done really, really, some have done worse things than others, but that doesn't make, those aren't things that's not who we are. Those are things that we've done.
Right.
So show yourself a little grace. Give yourself a little bit of forgiveness.
Yeah, please do. Please do. I'm trying to think. I still beat up on myself sometimes. I'm like, man, I should know better. I've been doing this a long time. We teach this. We do this. I should know better. But what makes me any better? Nothing.
Right.
So, yes, should I know better? But I'm still working. The problem is if you don't do anything about it. That's where the problem comes in.
Big time. Yeah.
If you're like, well, if you don't like it, that's your problem.
Yeah.
And it's fun to say to somebody, but not to truly mean it.
Yeah.
You're like, look, I'm just playing. I need to take care of that.
Yeah. And that's why I said, do you say it out loud?
Yes.
Because it's easier to change it once you've actually accepted it and acknowledged that it's a problem, as opposed to just thinking on it, dwelling on it, like I should have said this, I should have said that. It's like, no, this was wrong. I was in the wrong. I'm going to make a change, whether it be amends or a living amends, however it's going to be. You can't change unless you accept what is wrong.
So it is possible to move and grow from arrested development.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are some solutions we can give?
Mike brought one up early.
I
Do
did.
you acknowledge it?
Acknowledge the issue.
Yeah.
So recognize that you have been stuck in arrested development and that it is hindering your personal growth and progress. Acceptance is the first step towards change.
Radical
Acceptance
acceptance.
is the key to all my problems today.
What page is that?
Page 417. What was it in the old one? Do you know?
I don't know. I was not really.
Page 214 or yeah. Yeah, I think it was something.
Well, for the one right now, it's page 417.
417.
417. What kind of acceptance? Just regular acceptance, or do they mention radical?
It doesn't say radical acceptance in there, but it does say that I have to accept life on life's terms.
Mm-hmm.
I have to accept the fact that Mike is who he is. It doesn't say Mike, but I have to accept that Mike is who he is and I can't do anything to change him. I need to focus not so much on what needs to be changed in the world as what needs to be changed in me and my attitudes.
How many attitudes do you have?
Quite a few.
How long you got?
How many personalities do you have?
Just a few.
Just 3 or 4.
3 or 4.
3 or 4. No big deal. 3 or 4.
Seek professional help.
Oh, no. I don't need a therapist.
I love people to tell me that.
What's therapy going to do? What am I just going to talk to a guy for an hour? I used to think that way. I was like, how is this 65-year-old guy know what I'm going through?
Shane's not 65.
I'm sorry.
I just look 75.
You look
But I'm really only 50.
You look Father Time-ish, but
Yeah.
whatever. We love you anyways. But that's what I was saying. I was like, what is this guy? How is this guy going to relate to me in any way? You were a teenager 50 years ago. Times have changed a little bit,
Just a little.
just slightly, you know? I mean, this was me before. Now it's, I always say, just because you found a therapist does not mean that has to be your therapist forever.
It doesn't?
It shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be, but it's like it's like, okay, I got one, it's the end all be all. It's like a sponsor. If it's not working out, maybe you should find another one.
Well, not only that, but you could outgrow your therapist and you could outgrow your
Yeah,
sponsor.
That's the important. Thank you. I mean,
Well said, yeah.
because you're going to grow.
Yes.
As you get through them, it's like they're there through a stage of your life, and that's it.
Yeah.
And when I tell people this, you have counselors, therapists that are there that are truly trauma therapists, right? They get you at the very beginning. A brain surgeon is not the person that walks you through your physical therapy. Your surgeon, yeah. They're not the ones that do that. They have a specialty. You go to them for this. They stop the bleeding. They stop, they keep you alive, and then you move on. And so therapy could be that same way. Different stages of life call for a different therapist.
I like that.
And so it's okay to outgrow them. I sponsor somebody that used to sponsor me. It happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the only thing that is a testament to how well you did. If you outgrow somebody, I mean, that would be the goal, is whoever you're sponsoring, that they outgrow you.
I like that.
Yeah. I like that too.
So,
Goals.
Goals.
And I want to add a word. Achievable. Set achievable
Can you
goals.
spell that, Mike?
ACHEIVABLE.
I before E.
It is.
After C.
Yeah, I do that every time, man.
It's all right.
What are you going to do?
That's okay. So what's an achievable goal?
Okay. So setting achievable goals. An achievable goal is something that you can do on a daily basis that you don't really think about. So waking up, brushing your teeth every day, taking a shower every single day, maybe praying when you wake up and before you go to bed. I said this a lot in the rooms was, I know I'm not going to be the president of the United States. I'm not going to set a goal to be the president of the United States. I want something that I can achieve on a daily basis because I'm trying to build mastery. You know what I mean? I want things that I can do and get better and better and better and better at, as opposed to setting my goals so lofty to where I can't achieve them, or maybe they're not going to be on my timeline. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So achievable goals are, talking to another alcoholic or addict every day.
Mikey, you could be anything you want to be. Do not sell yourself short.
I don't want that job, man.
But I get what you're saying. So SMART goals.
Smart goals. Yeah. Nothing outlandish. I mean, don't get me wrong. Bigger goals are good to have, but compartmentalize those goals.
One word: realistic.
Realistic. Yeah.
Like a realistic.
Achievable. Yeah.
Yes,
Realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
And I like the achievable part because that's part of SMART. Specific, measurable, what is it? Achievable, relevant, and time.
Yeah.
Time-based or timely. Yeah, at the beginning, I agree. Just brushing your teeth, just taking a shower. Those simple things, you need to be able to complete goals in order to be able to build yourself and move forward. And then eventually you could do SMART goals. So setting something that you actually have to work towards,
Yeah.
that may take you a week to get to. And then you can start taking them out further, and you can make a goal to be the president, but now you got to set goals how to get there.
Right.
And if it don't make sense, then hopefully you stop.
And I think it's important too to make it in every aspect of your life, like relationships, career,
Everything. Yeah.
self-care, intelligence. Like come up with all 4 of these and put them together, because that's who you are. You're an entire person. You're not just defined by one thing. Yeah. Embrace discomfort.
Ooh, yes.
I think you might have skipped one.
Yeah, but
Well,
that
because
kind of goes with
yeah,
it almost goes with the other one. When we take ownership, it really acknowledging the issue. Because if you're going to acknowledge it, especially out loud, like we were talking about, you're taking ownership of it.
Yeah.
As long as you don't pull Shane and do the blame game.
Don't do that, folks.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
yeah,
It
don't.
never goes well for you.
Well, excuse me. So,
And I think this encompasses everything. Surround yourself with positive support.
100%.
That would be your therapist. That would be my friend group, right? Shane, my mentor. I've got like mentor and friend. I've got you as a mentor and friend. You know, I surround myself with people who all want the same thing. And I think that's important.
But aren't yes men?
Yeah, they'll call me. You'll call me on my
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
In a heartbeat.
my cow poop.
And vice versa.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
know?
you can't surround yourself with yes men because that's not a support system. That was whoever was in your life during your using time that we call codependent.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll use this example. If I'm having an issue with my wife, I typically don't call you first. She'll call you for me. Or
Yes,
text
I hear
you,
about it pretty quick.
you
Smart
know.
lady.
But then it's like I know, and I know exactly what you're going to tell me. I mean, we had this just last week, and it's like he sends me a text, "Hey, can you talk?" And I'm like, "Oh," and I knew, I knew what it was going to be, and it's like I just called him. I was like, "Dude, I'm already on it." Like, I really was. I was like, I already know, and he's like, "Okay, you good? You good?" I'm like, "I'm good. I'm on it." So
And that's the beauty of having that kind of support. It's like when you're around those people enough, you know what they're going to say, so you can almost do it first, you know. But at the same time, my cousin said this at a meeting a couple weeks ago when she came in town. She said, I have a built-in forget, what was it?
You said it. Yeah. Was that?
It was a built-in, oh, knock the mic.
You said that on Sunday, right?
a built-in forgetter.
I think it was a built-in something.
Something about forgetter, though. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah. To where it's like we know these things, right? But if we don't, we have to rehear them because, like you said it, we change, you know. And some things that are working for us now, I mean, obviously, always go back to the basics. So if I go back to the basics enough, I'm just gonna re-engage what those basics brought me. So hearing the things that we know what we need to do, but hearing them from another person to really hold us accountable, that's huge.
Yeah, it just sucks, especially when it's me calling, right? It's like, dang it. I really got to hear this guy's voice. I was on a men's retreat.
And I was going
And so,
Shade and I never talk on the phone either. It's always a text.
yep. I'm like, you got a minute?
You got a call, huh?
I just immediately, when I got that text, I was like, I'm calling him now. And I just picked up the phone and called him.
Yeah, it's
But that's what I need in my life. I need men that not only not only emotionally in my relationships, but spiritually. I need to surround myself with men who are going to challenge me spiritually. Are you praying? Are you reading? Are you journaling? You know, we're about ready to start a Bible study. You know, and that's I need that in my life. You know,
Yeah.
I have to make time for that because there's no reason why I shouldn't.
you have to make time for it because it's the only way you're going to grow.
Yeah.
I mean, you said embrace the discomfort, and we glossed over that really quick. But that's the only way we grow too. We have to be willing to be uncomfortable in order to grow. We don't grow in comfort.
No.
I mean, when we're young, when we're growing, it hurts. They call them growing pains. Your knees hurt. Everywhere it's uncomfortable. That's when we grow. So,
And I use the analogy of a football player, right? If a football player is went and lifted 125, 145 pounds on a bench every single day, he would never get bigger, never get stronger. So you have to push that muscle to exhaustion, you know, keep growing, keep adding, keep growing, keep adding. And that's the same thing with us mentally, spiritually, emotionally. Like we have to put ourselves in those uncomfortable positions.
My DOC used to be more. Now it's more in a healthy way.
Yeah.
You know, it's that those achievable goals. Start them low, and then get bigger and bigger and bigger, and get more and more and more.
And celebrate the wins.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know I don't know if it's on here, but you have to celebrate the victories.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Little or big.
right?
I mean, all of
Don't
them.
matter. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's that's what I love about Celebrate Recovery. One of them is about celebrating those victories, and yeah, there's nothing greater.
Mm-hmm. I
I don't
agree.
I don't care if it's about harm reduction. The guy that the guy
Let's not
that
go
said
there.
the guy that said, "Look, I quit opiates," and so he celebrated his blue chip, and then he came back, got his 30 days, but then he came back up and did the alcohol. So
Yeah.
celebrating the little things led to the bigger.
Definitely.
So
Yeah.
S-
Go ahead. I know what you're gonna say.
Self-care.
Oh no, I was gonna. We kind of touched on that a little
Yeah.
bit with the goal setting. You know, I was gonna go straight to stay committed.
Oh man. Yeah.
see, and I like the self care, but I like staying committed. But self care, journaling,
Growing a beard, like not touching a razor to your face for I don't know 30 or 45 days. Something
yeah,
like
something like that. Hey,
that. Yeah.
look, growing a beard is a great thing. It is a beautiful. You know why it's patchy? Because your head's so big. So you need to give it extra time to grow in.
I don't have enough follicles on my head. I used to think people said, "Wow, you have a receding hairline." It's like, no, I don't.
That's just my giant
I don't
dome.
have enough scalp for my head.
See, Mike, I never looked at you and said, "Man, he's got a ginormous head."
I know, but you're gonna notice it now.
You will.
The only reason I noticed now is because when you put it on your big melon, the
Yeah.
thing fell down.
Yeah.
Like it was a cowboy hat.
What I'm gonna love is when this episode comes out and people at work listen to it, they're gonna be staring at your head.
Did you see that thing?
You know what we should do? We should take him to Texas Roadhouse in Wentzville. There's a guy out there that wears a hat that's way too big for him, so he does look like the guy off of Beetlejuice. They got the powder put on his head, so we could put you guys side by side. We have a big head and a little head.
For everybody out there, I'm not like John Merrick. I'm not the Elephant Man. I just have a large head.
I just never noticed.
Yeah.
So we have learn from setbacks, celebrate progress, which we touched, and then staying committed.
Yes. Yeah, because there is going to be the journey that you are embarking on in recovery is completely worth it. You know, I mean, it's 1,000 times better than the life that you were living before, hands down. And the reason that people stop and go back and relapse and use is because they have to face those emotions that they've arrested for so long, and they don't want to deal with everything. And I promise, I mean, and we could all guarantee, because you said it last week, you know, 100% of the people that go to treatment will make it, and 100% of the people that go to treatment won't make it. And it's the same thing with recovery. If you commit to this 100%, you will get through this.
You will be successful, and you will love life.
Yes.
Embrace the suck.
Embrace the
Yes.
suck. Embrace the suck.
All right, let me go put the shirt on. I didn't wear it again.
Oh, you did.
Embrace the suck.
I was like,
Now,
One day
You already
we're
have
all
the
gonna
shirt
have
on.
we're all gonna have shirts on that have a message.
yes.
yeah, we just need people to do it.
This is true.
Any closing remarks before I read from Romans? How about I read from Romans and then we have
Yeah,
closing remarks?
read from Romans.
Dig it.
Romans 12. Therefore, I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper worship. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. Now, I love this next part. For by the grace given me, I say to every one of you, do not think of yourself more highly than you ought, but rather think of yourself with sober judgment, in accordance with the faith God has distributed to each of you. For just as each of us has one body with many members, and these members do not all have the same function, so it is in Christ. We, though many, form one body, and each member belongs to all the others. We have different gifts according to the grace given to each of us. If your gift is prophesying, then prophesy in accordance with your faith. If it is serving, then serve. If it is teaching, then teach. If it is to encourage, then give encouragement. If it is giving, then give generously. If it is to lead, do it diligently. If it is to show mercy, do it cheerfully.
There it is.
That's
That's just so mean. I'm already showing mercy. Why
Show
do I have
mercy
to
cheerfully.
do it cheerfully?
yeah. You wronged me, and I feel hurt, but I'm gonna just show you mercy.
Also, don't patronize. It's fine.
it's fine.
It's okay. It's fine.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
But hey, that's the one piece that it's always got me from the very beginning. I'm like, all the others make sense all the way down,
Yeah.
and then if you're gonna be merciful, do it cheerfully.
Teach, encourage, you know. And then it's like, no.
If you're gonna
somebody
show
runs-
mercy, you do not get to be a condescending.
Don't be condescending. That's what it is. Yeah.
It's. But that's Jesus for you, right?
That is the little Jesus. So
Do it well.
awesome. Well, you know what? This has been a kind of a condensed version of what we talked about on Sunday, but I think it still gets our point across.
Yeah.
So,
And it's going to give people an answer to why they have been the way they have been for so
Correct.
long.
correct.
I never knew what it was called for years, but we just said, hey, when these things happen, your brain quits growing, or emotionally, you just don't develop. And that's why a lot of us still act like little kids, because we started drinking or using at a young age, and we've only got a few years in sobriety. So, I mean, what am I, 18 now, I guess? 19 years old? Well, no, because if I went out to traumas, we're not really, I started drinking at 8, and the traumas happened before that. So
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe I'm pretty young. So when I act like a big baby,
You could probably vote at this point.
I don't know, maybe. Hopefully.
Don't give this guy a pen and paper and tell him to vote.
Wait a minute. Don't give a pen and paper.
A pen.
But we have the best pens, the
do.
best sponsor, Tactile Turn. Because I love giving writing assignments. It's my favorite thing in the world to do. Everything that gets given to me, and I don't know if Colby can, because he mentioned using digital. That's going to
Yeah,
be hard
he
for
has
me to
to.
accept.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I will for him. But everybody else has to write. And so if you're going to write, why not have something good to write with? Tactile Turn, boy, you got a few of them now.
I do.
Got you hooked.
I am hooked.
I'm next.
You will be hooked.
You will be.
Yeah. And so we'll have a discount code so that way people can get them, because if you're going to write with something good.
Yeah, go ahead and check out their website though, tactileturn.com.
Yeah, they are unbelievable. And yes, they are a little expensive, but they have a lifetime warranty.
Made
Any
in
problem I've
America.
ever had,
America.
yeah, any problem I've ever had, they just fix.
And the owner is fantastic, and they're well worth your patronage. You should patron them.
Matter of
Is
fact,
that a word?
Patron?
Should you patronize?
No, don't patronize.
yeah, don't patronize
wait,
them. Will's too good of a person. Don't patronize him.
I don't know.
Buy their product.
Let's put it this way. Will, I found out whenever I reached out to him, he's also in recovery. We're going to have him on the show
Yeah,
pretty
that's
soon.
gonna be
Yeah,
awesome.
can't wait. That's
Yeah.
gonna be sweet.
It will eventually put a link up there and everything else. So this
Yeah,
is
but-
all new news to us. So
Yeah,
good, exciting stuff.
without a doubt.
So
Anything else to good for the whole?
Gentlemen, have a good week. I'll see you Sunday.
yeah.
I will see you Sunday. Hey, God bless you guys. Glad that you're here, and we will see you soon.
Blessings. See ya.